My video for May 11th, 2019 is video number 3082. The title is Today's Reflections in the Looking Glass. Wow, what an awakening this morning. My previous video began with the title word, Reflections. In that one, I was looking back at old pictures of me as I was. My thoughts upon awakening today were in regard to the looking glass, or in other words, the now moment. I felt inspired, and it showed when I took my blood pressure. It had dropped 10 to 15 points from where it had been over the past couple of weeks. Is that the difference between looking back and looking ahead? In the now moment, we are present. In viewing old pics, I can see how I was. I also spend a good amount of time looking at where I want to be, in heaven on earth. Can that only exist in the now moment, as some suggest? I have to explore this in more depth, but the suggestion is to begin an online group in which we are encouraged to look deeply and honestly into the looking glass, the mirror of our life in this present moment of time. I normally am very anxious when I wake up in the morning, and so it's really not a good time to take my blood pressure. And I'm in anxiety because I have to get out to the computer and get my current video uploaded to YouTube. It's already prepared, of course, most of the time a day ahead. And in other words, the previous morning, as I'm recording this, it's not even just past 4:30 in the morning when I'm recording this. And it will not go up until 4 a.m. tomorrow morning, or between 3:30 and 4 o'clock. I normally have the new video up. But the energy that I woke up with this morning was very different. One thing, I had didn't have the agonizing itch all night long like I've been having lately, and I was able to sleep a little bit better than I've been able to sleep in over the past week or more, and that I'm sure has an effect on it. I'm not putting the magnesium oil on my feet anymore, and I did soak my feet in hot water and with baking soda to alkalinize it as much as possible, alkalinize my feet, so that problem was at least somewhat remedied. As for my face, I mean, I live on a polluted planet where they're polluting everything. They pollute our water, they pollute our food, they pollute the air that we breathe, they pollute our media, and the whole system is corrupted. That's a reality, folks, that we have to acknowledge. But somehow we have to get together in the present moment and look at things realistically and objectively, whatever that means. I mean, I'm saying the words, but I thought, well, Ron, you've always been objective. You've always been a realist. You don't try to paint pictures of something as you'd like it to be and how you'd like to be feeling. You do your best to tell the truth. And I'm speaking as if I'm talking to myself, and I'm talking to myself, but there's a part of myself that's part of yourself. You and I are interconnected because we live in a creation, I'm going to call it that everything is interconnected, even when we try mentally to disconnect from it and to create a different reality, which is the rebellion against what is. Call it whatever you want. But there obviously is a problem on Earth and perhaps other places where beings explore other avenues that are separate, but there can't be any real separation. That has to be a delusion. I'm not going to call it an illusion. It's a delusion, and it's a self-delusion. When I say self, I'm not talking about us individually. I'm talking about humanity collectively. We have been self-deluded. We have bought into lies. And I'd like to see if we could get enough people online cooperating with each other to share what we're going through with the intention of healing not only ourselves individually, but healing the collective. I'd like to believe that's possible. I don't think it's possible without some kind of help, but then again, many suggest that we are actually getting that help. We are having our awareness broadened so that we can perceive things that in previous generations we were not able to perceive as human beings. We're being given a different perspective, in other words. And what are we going to do with that perspective? The perspective that everything is interconnected, that there is a singular web of life, and that even that which appears to be different is part of an awakening, because we're now recognizing the difference between loving and selfishness. And selfishness is the opposite of loving. Selfishness is always what's in it for me. Loving is how can I help uplift the other, which is simply another part of me, because that's the truth. That's the reality. I posted on Facebook a couple of my old pics, one of when I was about 28 years old and another one when I was a child. The pic when I was 28 has 134 likes as of just before I am recording this video. And the pic of me as a child had 227 likes. None of my videos get that. On Facebook, I have 19 unanswered friend requests because I've become suspicious of my friend requests. Have they watched any of my videos? Or is it just something that Facebook is sending a friend request to me from an individual that doesn't even know that I make videos? And I have answered some of these friend requests and sent them, have you watched any of my videos? And in most cases, they don't even bother to answer my question. It's ignored. So what good is it? But we live in a world where everything has been distorted, and there are those who want to continue the distortions and prevent us from moving into a higher consciousness in which humanity awakens and in which the world itself becomes transformed by that awakening. This is what I live for, and I hope that many of you also live for that. And I'd like to see a response to this video and say, yes, I'd like to participate in this looking glass idea and telling the truth, not what I want to be true, not what I believed to be true, but what is actually happening now, today, in my current time of living on this planet called Earth. I hope this makes sense to many of you, and I really hope I get a response. Thank you very much for listening, and namaste.